Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, or maybe good evening. In today's video, we will be going over the LT-01 standard display that's typically used on Kaabo base models, such as the Wolf base, the Mantis base, and the Skywalker. I'm sure there are many others, so perhaps the LT-01 is used on a scooter other than the Kaabo. This video may be helpful for you. So when you look at the display, the first thing you'll see is on the top is the gear selection. This will be your speed setting. So you have gear selection of 1, 2, or 3. In the middle here, these two zeros, this is going to be your current speed. And then below, you can toggle between a few different settings. The first setting you can see here is the total odometer. So this is the total kilometers that you have put on this scooter. To toggle to different settings, you can simply hit the mode button. So the second one is trip. So this will be the current trip. So when you turn the scooter on, whatever kilometers you did on that trip before you turn it off, this is what you're going to see here. Then the third setting is the voltage. This is probably the best setting to keep your scooter on because the voltage is a great indicator of how much juice or battery percentage you have left. With this display is currently set on a Wolf Warrior base model, so it's a 60 volt system. So when it's full, it'll be at around 67 volts versus a 48 volt system such as the Skywalker would be full at 54 volts. Now with the 60 volt system, if you hit somewhere close to 54 volts, the battery is going to be dead. Versus with the 48 volt system, if you're hitting down to 44 volts, then the battery's dead. So this is something good to always keep on while you're riding because it's your best battery indicator. Now below the voltage, you can see here, there is a battery indicator which is set apart by 5 different levels, 5 different bars. So that's also a good visual way, but probably not as good as the voltage. Going on, the next mode is your total time. So this is right now, currently you can see it's a running time, so 16, 34, 35, 36. This is how long the scooter has actually been on. So this is your time. The next setting, this is for overriding, for charging mode, basically to override your scooter setting when it will turn off. So this will stay on for 2 hours now. Typically scooters are set for about 5 minutes. You can change that to 10 minutes in the advanced settings, which we'll go over very shortly. And press mode again, you get back to odometers. Now we're going to go into the advanced settings. All right, so now we're going to go into the advanced settings of the Kaabo standard LT-01 display. So to do this, what you're going to want to do is hold the mode and power button at the same time, which will prompt you to enter in a 4-digit code. That code for this specific one is going to be 9 2 2 1, and then to get in, you're going to want to hold the power button. Now, keep in mind, all new models manufactured in 2021 and after, the new code is 1500. Again, that's 1500. All right, so once you're in the advanced settings, you can, there are many different settings. We could cycle through them by pressing mode. So as you can see, P9, PAB, PC, and back to P0. I'll go through each one and explain what it is. To enter into that setting, you simply press the power button. The first setting, P0, this is going to be your tire diameter. Let me go back there for a second just to show you. Overskipped it. Well done. P0. Okay, so tire diameter. So this is important. You can move up and down by using the mode and power button. So power button, as you can see, will go down and mode go back up. It's important to stay at the right tire diameter because this will effectively show you what your speed is. So if you have the wrong tire size, you're going to get incorrect speed settings. So make sure it's accurate. Because we're using a Wolf Warrior 11, We kept it at 11 because it has 11-inch tires. If you're using something like a Mantis or a Skywalker, you're going to want to make sure that that's set to 10. So the second setting in your advanced settings is P1, which is your voltage cutoff. This one, being a 67 volt system, cuts off at 53 volts. If you're running a 48 volt system, it's going to cut off lower at probably around 42 volts. So the importance of this, you don't want to touch this. What this does is it tells the controller basically to shut down the battery once your scooter reaches a level of 53 volts, which is can be harmful if the voltage drops too low. So it does protect your battery, and please don't touch this from the manufacturing settings. So your third setting in advanced settings is P2. This is your magnetic pole settings. This again is something that is set by the factory and you do not want to touch. Fourth setting, P3. This is your speed selection. It's set to 0 by the factory, do not touch. P4, this is going to be your units of travel and speed. So it's either going to be kilometers or miles. So you can change how you want to display your speed, whether it be in kilometers per hour or miles per hour. Since we're in Canada, we like kilometers per hour. Okay, so the next setting is the P5 setting. The P5 setting is very important. This is zero start or non-zero start setting. So essentially, a zero start setting, if it's set to 0, will let your scooter go as soon as you touch the throttle. As soon as, even if the scooter is not moving, you can touch the throttle and it will go. Level 1, or setting 1 is your kickstart setting. So the kickstart setting, you'll have to actually physically move the scooter. The wheels will have to rotate at least half a revolution before the throttle will be engaged. We highly recommend that you leave it on setting 1 on P5 because it could potentially be very dangerous if you're on the zero start, which accidentally you can touch the throttle, and with a very powerful scooter, it could potentially damage the scooter, something else, or injure yourself or injure somebody else. We've seen it happen before. That's why we recommend always to leave it on setting 1. So again, setting 0 means the scooter will just go by simply touching the throttle, where setting 1, you have to do a kickstart, move the scooter a little bit, and then the throttle will work when engaged. The P6 setting is your cruise control. So you can set your cruise control. By default, it's set to 0, which cruise control is off. You can turn it on by selecting it to 1. This is more for an advanced user, we would say, because you can be going and kind of forget about it, and you let go of your throttle and your scooter keeps going. However, if you're doing long trips or going on a long road, this could be very comfortable, as you can let go of your throttle and essentially you're cruising and your scooter's still going. If the cruise control is on, you can disengage it by simply pressing on the brake or tapping the throttle. So P7 is your acceleration start. If you set it to 0, it's the fastest acceleration. If you set it to 1, it's slightly slower. So if you're a beginner, you may want to set it to 1 until you get used to it, and then eventually go back down to 0 for the fastest acceleration. The next setting is P8. This is electronic braking. You can turn on or off electronic braking. So when you're on setting 0, there's no electronic braking. If you set it to 1, you now have electronic braking. Electronic braking is a nice feature. They're very powerful brakes. However, there are things that you got to be careful with it. Like if you live in a very hilly area, it uses regenerative power, and the power is very strong of the electronic braking. So when you're going downhill, and if your battery is fully charged, it can cause some damage. It is nice to have if you're mostly flat areas and your battery is not fully charged, but it's something to be careful with. Some people find it a little bit overpowered. So we recommend probably to leave this off at least while you're getting used to it. The next setting is P9. This is also a very important setting because this will control your top speed. When set to 100, this will give you the full and most potential speed of your scooter, but if you want to tone it down, for example, if you want to give it to somebody who's less experienced, and you can put it down by the percentage, so it goes basically from 0 to 100. So if you did 50, for example, you know, you go about half the speed, or you know, somewhere in the middle. So this is good to have. Once you get used to the scooter, of course, you can always leave it at 100. So the next setting is PA. This is the lifetime odometer reset. This has actually been disabled by the factory, so essentially it's useless. PB, this is going to be your display sleep time. So if it's right now, currently by default, it's set to 10. So that means if your scooter's on for 10 minutes with no activity, it will shut down on its own. You can extend it up to 30 minutes. PC is your LCD brightness. So as you can see, if I go to 1, it's less bright, 2, a little brighter, 3 is the brightest. Okay, so that sums up the LT-01 Kaabo standard display. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, comment below. We will get back to you as soon as possible. And have an epic day.